Although condo lifestyle might be simple, buying a condo isn't always simple. On this episode of Prairie Real Estate, I'm giving you a comprehensive condo buyer's guide so you know exactly what to look for and make a smart decision when you're buying a condo. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Prairie Real Estate, where I educate you all about real estate. If you're new here, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer. I'm a real estate agent from Regina, Saskatchewan. And on this episode of Prairie Real Estate, we are talking about buying condos, what you need to know. We'll start off talking about the pros and the cons of condo ownership. Then we'll talk about pre-construction condos, what you need to know when you're looking at a condo, what to look for specifically, what inspections you should do. Probably the most important part of buying a condo, looking at the estoppel package, and quickly look at some hidden costs of buying a condo so you know everything you need to know by the time this video is up. But before we get started, as we always do, let's start off with another terrible joke. This one is from Stephanie. I love viewer jokes, so if you've got one, put it in the comments below. But how much extra does it cost to have a chimney when you buy a house? Nothing, because it's on the house. If you have another terrible joke, put it in the comments below. When you're buying a condo, it's all about price and lifestyle. Generally, condos are going to be cheaper per square foot than a house will be. You're going to have things like your utilities and maintenance costs built into your condo fees, as well as your insurance. You're just going to have to worry about your own liability insurance, because the condo fees will cover common area insurance, all the maintenance, and like I said, sometimes utilities. Of course, lifestyle is what condos are all about. You're probably going to be close to downtown, transit, entertainment, restaurants, things like that. If you want a quick little breakdown I did on condos versus houses, put a link right there. You can check that out, comparing them and whether you should buy a condo or a house. Let's talk about the drawbacks. The big drawbacks of condo ownership are going to be lack of flexibility. So if you want to change the windows and doors in your condo, you probably can't because you probably don't own them. If you want to do other interior changes, you might need to get condo approval first. Of course, condo fees, that's another big drawback. They're an added expense to your monthly living. And if the condo board is not financially responsible, those condo fees could go up, making monthly expenses more and also making it harder to sell because of those high condo fees, and even harder to purchase because the condo fees are included in part of your qualification when you're getting a mortgage. They could also change the rules, make pets, for example, prohibited. So you could buy a place and the rules could be changing, saying no dogs, no cats. Of course, it would be not only just a real inconvenience, you might not want to buy that place. Because of that, they could also make those rules retroactive or charge extra fees. So condos, they have great lifestyle advantages, but there are some significant drawbacks to buying a condo. Let's talk about pre-construction condos. Now, this could be an entire video topic on its own, but for the purposes of this video, let's keep it short and just quickly touch on what you need to know about buying a pre-construction condo. So as the name states, pre-construction, it either has not started construction or maybe it's just starting the early processes of construction. What do you need to know when you're thinking about buying a condo when it is in that phase? First off, get to know the builder and their track record. Make sure this builder has a track record of completing this project on time and with the features and specifications that were in the original plan. It's easy to start cutting costs and take out some of the features or change plans. Also very easy to get delayed. So make sure you know what that builder has as a track record in previous projects. Get to know the sales team and anybody else involved in the project, and trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right from those initial meetings, maybe look at something else. Your gut is more often right than you would think. So if you're not feeling good about the situation, maybe the track record of the builder, just the way the sales team is treating you, look at some other options as well. Make sure you know what your out options are. So if, for example, the condo project does not get built because the builder goes bankrupt, make sure you know if you're able to get your deposit back. That might not be an option. Also, what happens if the condo project is really delayed and you'd like to get your money out to go buy something else? Have a lawyer review those contracts to see what options are available to you so you know what you're signing. Don't just sign on the dotted line. Make sure you go through those thoroughly and know what options you have. I tell all of my buyers that when you're buying a house or buying a condo, it's got to improve your lifestyle. It's got to improve your quality of life. And if it doesn't, it's not the right time or not the right reason to buy. And I think that's even more important when looking at condos, because so much about condo ownership and buying a condo is about the lifestyle. Maybe it's being close to downtown restaurants, bars, entertainment, or you want to be close to work or transit so you can get to work quicker. That's some of the big key important things about buying a condo. So when you're looking, start there first. Look for buildings, neighborhoods, areas that are going to improve your lifestyle and do what you want, whether it is being close to those bars, restaurants, work, etc. Then when you have found those areas or those buildings that make sense for your lifestyle, look at the little details. Is the quality of workmanship good throughout the building? Is there features and amenities that are in that building? Are they something you want? Everybody talks about how awesome it is to have a pool, but how many times are you actually going to use that? Because you're paying for it each and every single month. So if you don't want to use the pool all the time, don't look at a condo that has a pool. But also look at the exterior of the building, how well the common areas have been maintained. Is that condo board continuing to maintain it? Is the upkeep good? And are there major renovations coming up in the future that you're going to have included in your condo fees potentially? We're going to talk about what happens in a second here if the condo has to do major renovations and they don't have the funds to do it. Then the next thing you want to do is find a condo that's unique. And I know it's tough, right? Every one of these is going to be identical or very similar. And that's a tough part about buying an apartment style or even townhouse style condos, is that they can all be very similar. But look for something that's going to set that condo apart from all the others that might be for sale at the same time. Because at some point, you probably are going to sell this. So if you have an extra parking stall, or you have a garage, a different layout, a top floor, different appliance package, something like that, that's going to set you apart from the other 4 or 5 condos that might be for sale in the same building, same project at the same time. Because yeah, I know right now in a lot of Canadian real estate markets, condos are the hottest thing for sale, but there are places, my market, where it was like an ice age. Condos were so cold that you had to have something that separated you from other units. So if you had that extra parking stall, that's probably gonna help you get sold versus the guy that only had the 1 parking stall. Even in a bad market, good condos and good properties that have unique features, they're gonna set them apart from the competition, will still sell. Should you get a home inspection when buying a condo? Yes, 100% you should. It's always good to have that second set of eyes looking at it. Yeah, condos are simpler, there's less to worry about, but it's still good to have that second set of eyes taking a look at all the systems and everything that's gonna be your responsibility in that condo. As well, there might be maybe something specific to that building or to that neighborhood that you might have to be aware of. Your agent is going to know what types of things to look for in those buildings or just buying a condo in general. And if you don't have an agent, don't worry, I can help you out with that. I've got my contact information below. If you send me an email, I can get you set up with a fantastic agent in your neighborhood. If there's one thing you take away from the video, it's this section right now, talking about the estoppel package. And if you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button for me. But the estoppel package is part of buying a condo. You're gonna have conditions probably like your financing or inspections, but you're also gonna request to have provided to you what's called the estoppel package. This is gonna be a series of documents that's gonna outline a bunch of information that's very important to buying a condo. They're gonna talk about condo fees, what do they cover, and how much of that is being set aside for the reserve fund. Reserve fund is a really important part of buying a condo, because if the condo board doesn't have enough money in their reserve fund and they have to do a major renovation, what they will then do is divide up that cost and bill each owner individually. So there's a $100,000 renovation and they don't have the money to cover that renovation. They're gonna divide that up equally amongst all the owners and send everyone a bill. Now, obviously, it's gonna be a huge added expense to condo ownership. It also makes it harder to sell. If you get hit with that levy rate when you wanna sell, you've either gotta pay that out before you put it on the market, or it's gonna be a detriment to helping you get the place sold, because a buyer knows they're gonna have to pick that up when they buy the place. Also look within the estoppel package. What are the rules of the condo? Maybe they don't allow pets there, so get to know the rules, the regulations, look at what your responsibilities are, what do you have to maintain, what is the condo board going to maintain. They're also gonna have what they call the AGM, the annual general meeting minutes, and the monthly meeting minutes in there, so you can review what the condo board has planned. Maybe they are raising condo fees next month. Check into that. Maybe they're changing policies to prohibited pets. Also, have your lawyer look at this. Lawyers are fantastic at digging these things apart, and finding little details are gonna be very important. But make sure you're an informed purchaser and go through the entire estoppel package, know it top to bottom and how it's gonna impact your purchase, but also ownership of that condo. Now let's talk about the hidden costs of buying a condo. There's a couple of big ones. First off is condo fees. Everybody knows when you buy a condo or you own a condo, you're gonna have condo fees, but you wanna know not only how much are they, but what is included. Are utilities included? These are all gonna go in your monthly budget. So you're gonna have to know how much the condo fees are and what they cover and what additional utilities you're gonna have to have on top of those condo fees. But I think the most important thing you need to know about for hidden costs is gonna be in that reserve fund. That's why we talked about it. You wanna make sure that that reserve fund is adequately funded, because if it is not, and they have to do a major renovation or repair, something comes up that they weren't expecting, you're gonna get stuck with the bill. So make sure that you know that reserve fund is adequately funded. Have a lawyer or an accountant go through it and make sure that they have the adequate funds to cover repairs and renovations that are coming up in their budget and unexpected costs. That's a wrap on my condo buying guide. But if you would like more information about condo ownership, maybe the advantages, disadvantages, should you look at a single family home instead, right here is my condo buyers playlist. It's gonna break down everything you need to know in a bunch of different videos about buying a condo. Right here is what the YouTube algorithm says you need to learn next on Prairie Real Estate, so check that one out. And as always, thanks very much for watching.